Hey everybody, Andrew here with Nashville Severe Weather. We got a severe thunderstorm warning. These storms have kind of hit a wall and really haven't been all that impressive in the past 10 or 15 minutes. But storm coming out of Murray County, we've been watching this one. And sure enough, they issued a severe thunderstorm warning on it for 60-mile-per-hour winds possible and some small hail. So here we are on YouTube Live. All right, let me turn the radar off and show you the polygon. This does include part of both counties. This is a severe thunderstorm warning, not a tornado warning, but it is a severe thunderstorm warning that includes a good part of both counties. And this is for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts for a storm that was located west of Franklin. It's moving northeast very quickly. And at about, let's see, it's moving northeast at about 60 miles per hour. All right, so this thing's racing through. Let me back it up a little bit, and you can kind of see this storm is racing through Williamson County. So right now it is west of Franklin, and it's moving to the northeast toward Brentwood. And again, this is for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. This is the velocity mode on the radar. This is what we look at to see about the wind velocities. And we try to guess whether these are coming down to the surface, but it's possible around Leaper's Fork that these winds are screaming at about 50, 60 miles per hour. And these are straight-line winds. These are not rotating winds. These are straight-line wind gusts. And it's possible that these are reaching the ground. Now, we've had strong winds all day long. And I mean, you know that you've seen, you may have experienced power outages. You've had trees come down, power lines come down, your trash cans relocated. But these are thunderstorm winds. That is the reason this warning is issued. So this was for damaging straight line wind gusts coming through Williamson County and moving into Davidson. So if you are in Brentwood or Franklin or up in South Davidson County, up in the Creve Hall area, Forest Hills, Belmead, Bellevue, Berry Hill, those areas, as long as you're inside, just get inside your house, something like that. As long as you're away from trees, windows, you should be fine. This is for damaging straight line wind gusts up to about 60 miles per hour on this storm coming through western Williamson County. Let's take a look at it. Midtown. Haven't seen any power flashes or anything lately. This is the Midtown camera, and this is a great view to sort of look out and see if there's any power flashes around the city. And we have had some of those earlier, but not right now. So that's a good sign. We'll keep watching that over here off on the other screen and see if there's any power flashes that would be associated with straight line winds, but not right now. Okay, so if you're just joining us, we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for western Williamson County, and then also really a good part of Davidson County. Let me turn the radar off again, and you can see where the polygon is. This is for western Williamson County. It does include Franklin, includes Cool Springs, all the way up into Brentwood, Creve Hall, Antioch, all the way over to Percy Priest Lake, and neighborhoods around B&A, also Nashville, Vanderbilt, and all the way up into Madison. Does include Inglewood. So here's your polygon. This is a yellow polygon. This is a severe thunderstorm warning polygon, not a tornado warning polygon. All right? So the concern is for about 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts associated with this cell right here, this red, and then maybe just behind it as well, here in western Franklin. And it's moving northeast very, very quickly. All right, we're going to go over and look at TBNA. This is radar out of Nolensville, and it's a little bit closer to this storm and has a little bit of a better read on it. And we can kind of see these pockets of bright green or blue here. These are areas of enhanced winds at about 600 feet off the ground. All right, so good possibility these are reaching the surface, and we're showing some pixels up here around 60 miles per hour, and that's right there around Cotton Lane, Old Charlotte Pike, out there west of Franklin. This is, I believe that's West Haven right there in the west part of Franklin. This is going to be Horton Lane and areas like that, west of Franklin, near Jim Warren Park is kind of where that is right there. So neighborhoods around West Haven, Jim Warren Park, around the new Mac Hatcher, that goes around the west side of Franklin that they just opened up. Those areas right there are fair game to seeing these enhanced winds. So this is Cotton Lane, runs off to the north, runs into Hillsborough Road up there around around the high school. So that's kind of where this is right now. Actually, the high school's down. Where's the high school? Barry's Chapel. That's what I was trying to think of. It's up toward Barry's Chapel, not the high school. So anyway, that's kind of where the enhanced winds are right now. That's a look at TB&A. Let's go back over to traditional radar, and let's take a look at the latest radar scan on where this is. Now, everybody's seeing rain. Everybody's seeing heavy rain right now. Not really a threat. We've been kind of dry. We haven't had a ton of rain, so we should be able to handle this rain. But the concern here is for this area in red, this cell here in red, and that is where we could be seeing some of these really strong winds make it down to the surface. So again, this is a view of it. The velocities from the Old Hickory radar a little bit higher up, but we're seeing winds 50 to 60 miles per hour. There's our neighborhoods there: West Haven, Franklin Green, Jim Warren Park, Founders Point, Whitehall Farms, Cottonwood, Fieldstone Farms. I was trying to think of that earlier. Legends Ridge. So those are some of the subdivisions up there that could be seeing some of these strong winds as they come through. And that's with this area of red right here. So this is moving northeast, moving into Brentwood, Creve Hall, eventually making its way up to B&A, and up toward Vanderbilt. All right, so what this is, there are lots of different products, different warnings that can be issued. And of course, there has been talk today of tornadoes being possible in the line of storms as it comes through. This is not that. This is a really kind of what we might call kind of a standard severe thunderstorm warning. So this is kind of the lowest level. If you're going to issue a severe thunderstorm warning, this is kind of the lowest level of severe thunderstorm warning. It does not include what we call a tornado possible tag. Sometimes they'll include a tag in the warning that says, hey, it's a severe thunderstorm warning, but there's a tornado possible. This is not one of those. This is really your lowest level severe thunderstorm warning that they can issue. So that's good news, but nonetheless, we need to pay attention to it and realize that we could have some really strong gusty winds come through with this. Let's go back over to TB&A just a second. This is, again, looking on the west side of Franklin. And since this severe thunderstorm warning was based on strong gusty winds, we're going to spend most of our time looking at what we call velocities. So that's what we're looking at here on radar. The blues are pretty strong wind gusts, and this is up at about 600 or 700 feet. Above the ground is where this radar beam looks. And so right there around the west sides of Mac Hatcher, where the new Mac Hatcher is, on the west sides of Franklin, still seeing winds up in the 50, 60 mile per hour range. They're right there around Franklin Green and Jim Warren Park, and up along the north sides of Franklin Rail as well, up toward Fieldstone Farms. So definitely some gusty winds possible there. And not seeing too much in the way of gusty winds elsewhere, but downstream of this storm, so it's heading your way if you're in Brentwood, if you're in Creve Hall. Now, one thing we have to talk about with Creve Hall, almost every time we get a warning like this, is that Creve Hall has a lot of trees, and they've even had some power outages today. I work up that direction, and the power was blinking all day. There's just so many trees, big, old, beautiful trees up there, and sometimes they can get close to the power lines, and there's a lot of houses around there too. So, we hate to see windstorms come through Creve Hall, and hopefully it doesn't amount to much. But, careful if you're around all those trees up there in the Creve Hall area here. This storm is heading your way. So right now, Belmead, Forest Hills, approaching Brentwood, and we'll pull up a couple of traffic cameras there in Brentwood and just kind of see how it looks as it comes through there. I'm going to go ahead and pull up... let's do I'll pull up one here in just a second, and we'll see if we can get a view of it coming through. Let's go back to regular radar that you're used to looking at. So again, everybody's getting rain, but we are concerned a little bit about some strong gusty winds in the thunderstorm, or in the heavy pocket of rain. Hard to say thunderstorm. There's really not any lightning with this, but there's just not that much energy out there to create it. But some strong gusty winds there north of Franklin, moving toward Brentwood, up in the Belmead area, all the way up to Forest Hills, approaching Brentwood, Creve Hall, Antioch, B&A, Vanderbilt, and then downtown Nashville here in just a little bit. So this warning is in effect until This is in effect until 9:30. So about another 15 minutes with a storm. It's moving fast. It's moving about 60 miles per hour to the northeast. And so it will be through here pretty quickly. This warning's only in effect for another 15 minutes. But the Weather Service says they're still seeing pockets of 60 mile per hour winds moving into Belmead, Brentwood, and Franklin on the radars. And that's what we've been looking at as well. Let's back it up a little bit, and you can kind of see the motion, the direction that it's headed. So you see it's moving to the northeast, right inside this yellow box right there. And it's moving very quickly to the northeast. So hopefully it'll be out of here pretty soon, we hope. Okay, storm is approaching Brentwood. We're going to go look at, let me pull up a camera here for us. These are City of Brentwood cameras. This is Moores Lane and I-65, and you just see the sheets of rain on the interstate, if you can see that. Just sheets of rain blowing from south to north there on the pavement. And so it's coming down pretty good, and the wind is clearly blowing pretty hard, shaking the camera there and blowing those sheets of rain to the north. So again, this is a City of Brentwood camera. They own these, and here is a look at Franklin Road and Murray Lane. So we'll keep an eye on this one as well. It's always a good view. And another view here, Moores Lane and Carothers Parkway. So again, you can still see the wind blowing there, just in the lights, just sheets of rain just blowing across the road there. So definitely some strong gusty winds. So these are good views. We're going to keep an eye on these, and may have some freeze-ups in the camera every once in a while. That's all right. All right, we're watching that. Let's go back over to radar here. Storm is very quickly pushing off to the northeast. Should have a new radar scan here soon. There we go. And it's moving through Otter Creek, Radnor Lake, Time Boulevard, Belle Reeve, Granny White Park, Fountainhead, Holly Tree Farms, the landings, Linwood Downs, kind of that Moores Lane extension that goes over the hill right there, Brentwood South, all the way down through Cool Springs, hitting Cool Springs Mall right now down to the Thoroughbred Theater, Centennial High School, all the way down. So that's our storm. That's this warned storm. It stretches all the way up to Woodmont Boulevard and St. Thomas West Hospital over to Hillwood, another area with a lot of trees. But that's where this is. That's why this is warned, is this red area here, which is a look at the heavy rain, and embedded in that heavy rain could be some strong and gusty winds. Let's go back to TB&A just a second. This is going to be our radar out of Nolensville, not our radar. It's a FAA radar, but this, it looks like it's losing some of its punch as far as the winds go. Now, we're starting to look at it at a kind of a bad angle to the radar. Hard to say if that's just because of the angle to the radar or if the winds indeed are coming down a little bit. But you notice we're losing some of those blues. And that's a good sign, but the problem is, and I won't go into how radar works, but when these storms start moving parallel or perpendicular to the radar, we lose good readings on velocities. So I won't go into why all that is, but we sometimes you reach a point with radar, it's hard to read the velocity well. So hard to tell if that's exactly what this is. But we are losing the blues. That's good. So hopefully the wind isn't as strong as it comes into Creve Hall and Brentwood. Let's go over to the, I'm going to find Brentwood cameras again here. And this is East Park Drive, Maryland Way. Looks like it's blowing pretty good. All right, here's Franklin Road and Maryland Way. This is always a good view. And yeah, it looks like it's blowing pretty hard. Hard to say if that's severe level, but it looks like it's blowing. Looks like it's blowing pretty hard. So we're going to keep this view just a second. This is Franklin Road, Maryland Way. Church Street is off, like where that car is turning. Those cars are turning onto Church Street there, near the Kroger, heading east toward the I-65 bridge there. And that truck right there is turning northbound on Franklin Road. So just kind of orient you on where you are. Again, wind's blowing pretty hard. So this is that storm that is warned and is pushing off to the northeast. All right, and I'm also going to pull up our Oak Hill camera. We have a camera there in Oak Hill, and it's pointing to the south. And I'll pull that up here in just a second. But we're going to keep this one on right now, and I'm going to check the Oak Hill camera off to the side. So storm's pushing to the northeast, entering the Creve Hall, Berry Hill, Forest Hills, Brentwood areas. And you're looking right now at the Franklin Road and Maryland Way camera there. This is a City of Brentwood camera. And just to orient you again, you're looking kind of southwest is where this is aiming. And to the left is Church Street. And you're kind of looking southbound on Franklin Road there through town. So looks like the wind has let up a little bit. That's a good thing. So wind has let up there in Brentwood some. I'm going to check a couple of other cameras. All right, we can see some trees here. This is Franklin Road, Brentwood Place. All right, here's Concord Road and Wilson Pike. All right, so blowing pretty good here. This is looking, let's see, this would be looking, I think this is looking west on Concord Road. So just to the left of this picture is the gas station, if you're familiar with that area. So this would be looking, I think, west on Franklin Road. So you've got like the gas station on your left there. You've got like Concord Road Church and then the YMCA and all that down there on the left. So yeah, blowing pretty hard there still, and still blowing there on Franklin Road at Brentwood Place. All right, let's go back over to radar here, and let's kind of do a radar tour to see where we stand. Let me first check notes from the Weather Service. Nothing really new. They're watching some weather down south of us as well, but no real updates here. They've redrawn the warning. They've kind of shorted up. Most of Franklin is not really included now, at least the southwest parts. Really from Nashville, the storm stretches now from downtown Nashville down through Berry Hill, Rosedale, down I-65, Harding Place exit, Zoo, Southern Hills Hospital, Creve Hall, Nolensville, Old Hickory, all the way down through the eastern parts, the parts of Brentwood that are east of I-65. So the subdivisions along Concord Road, Old Smyrna Road, areas like that, east of I-65. That's where the strongest weather would be now. And so that's it's pushing pretty fast off to the east. Here's our Nippers Corner camera. This is our camera looking to the north from Nippers Corner, and the storm is almost there, if it's not there already. And so again, a couple of good signs. We're not seeing lightning or power flashes. So that's a good thing, and this camera has a pretty good view. So that's a good thing. We'll keep watching that. All right, we're going to go back over to TBNA. Again, severe thunderstorm warning still in effect until 9:30, and that's going to be for both counties. That's going to be for Davidson and Williamson. Here is your polygon. Let me zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to turn the radar off. All right, so here's your polygon now. It includes downtown Nashville. It includes Berry Hill, Forest Hills, Brentwood, all the way over to BNA, and Percy Priest Lake, Hermitage, Donaldson, Inglewood, areas like that. All right, so here's a little bit of a map tour just to show you who's included in this severe thunderstorm warning now. And let me turn on the radar. So this is velocities. Again, it's a really hard, it's kind of a hard velocity view because we're looking perpendicular to the radar. That's kind of a tough read. All right, so really tough to get a good velocity image out of this. Let's go over to the Weather Service's radar and see if it's any better. Yeah, the Weather Service's radar is still showing some areas of gusty winds. This is going to be up here around Talbot's Corner, Trinity Lane, around the Skyline Hospital, down through Inglewood, 5 Points, areas like that. Still could be some pretty gusty winds up there. You see these bright colors. Those bright colors there indicate some stronger winds, probably up 50, 55 miles per hour, maybe 60. And then stretching down to the southeast, or to the south rather, Shelby Park, Trevecca, Rosedale. down through Glencliff, down toward the zoo, Harding Place, Creve Hall, Old Hickory Boulevard there as it goes through Nippers Corner and Nolensville Road. Could be some gusty winds there as well. So, the colors have died off some. Let me back up here, and you kind of see down to the southwest. Earlier in West Franklin, we had these bright blues. All right, these were 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, pretty clearly there on radar. Well, let me play this forward, and you kind of see how in the warning these things kind of died off. All right, so that tells us that as we get a little bit lower in the storm toward the ground level, the winds may not be as strong. Maybe, still 50, 55 miles per hour, but we're not seeing those 60s that we saw earlier. So that's a good sign. So do they let the warning ride another 5 minutes? They very well might. Could cancel it early. We'll see. But we have to assume that the wind gusts are still pretty strong there around Creve Hall, stretching up Nolensville Road and up into Inglewood there, especially up toward Inglewood. And Weather Service actually just noted here that they're still seeing winds of 50 to 60 miles per hour moving across Nashville with the warned storms. They're going to keep it going, keep the warning going, and we'll stick here with it. So the Weather Service is still seeing 50 to 60 mile per hour winds with this storm in various spots. So we're seeing that too. If you zoom on in here, you can kind of see some 55s, some stuff like that. So my computer wants to optimize. I think I'll do that later. All right. So if you're just jumping on here, let's kind of review what we got. We got a severe thunderstorm warning. We're sitting here on velocity view. Velocity view is how we sort of measure the winds with the radar. And that's what this warning is in effect for. 60 mile per hour wind gusts are possible, and that's why they drew this polygon and issued the warning, and that's why we're here. So we're kind of sitting on velocity view. But let me jump over to the other view just to show you. It's kind of a gnarly looking storm there, but really areas here inside this red reflectivity. This is sort of your traditional radar view, what you would expect to see with the rainfall. And so from Madison down, let's see, that's going to be Ellington Parkway, stretches from Madison down into Nashville. So stretching down Ellington Parkway and also Gallatin Road, and then Briley Parkway over toward Opryland. So the storm is very quickly probably on top of Opryland. In fact, there's your new scans right on top of Opryland now, and stretches all the way down Briley Parkway. All right. Down to B&A, Seven Oaks, Antioch, Nolensville and Old Hickory, Governor's Club, Bellchase Farms, out Highway 96. This is kind of a big storm. It stretches a long way. It's turned into more of a line now, and wind gusts are possible all up and down that line. Strongest winds right now appear to be out around Opryland and Pennington Bend. So if I had to pin a spot where there's an area of heavy wind right now, it's crossing Briley Parkway, crossing the river up there around Opryland, and about to cross like Neely's Bend Road. So that, and headed toward Lakewood. So that, if I had to pin a spot where the strongest winds were based on radar, I would say that's probably it. And it's also moving out of the warning polygon as well. So we'll see whether they redraw that warning and extend it, or whether they just kind of let it go. Radar's not showing too much in the way of 60 mile per hour winds. That's encouraging. So we'll see what they do with it here in just a second. So warning is in effect for another 2 minutes. And it looks like, actually, the Weather Service just put out a note. They are planning on extending this warning into Sumner and Wilson. All right, so the severe thunderstorm warning will be reissued to include Sumner and Wilson. No word yet on whether that will include Davidson again. I imagine it will, a sliver of it up toward Lakewood, Hermitage, maybe Madison. But it's going to be out of Davidson pretty quickly. So we don't expect to have to hang around here for too long because this thing will be added here. Even if they redraw the warning, it includes Davidson. The thing will move out pretty quickly, we think. All right, so let's back up a little bit. this area right here, you see the reds and the oranges? That's where we could see the most gusty winds. All right, it's kind of formed a line again. It kind of fell apart earlier as far as a line goes. Didn't look too impressive, but it's kind of formed a line again as it's come through our counties. And yeah, actually, there's a new warning down just south of us here. Yep. All right, here's our new warning coming out for Davidson. Davidson looks like it is included. There we go. All right, so Davidson just got a new warning, new severe thunderstorm warning here. And this is going to be until 10 o'clock, so 30 minutes. And this is for a severe thunderstorm warning or severe thunderstorm located over Old Hickory or 10 miles to the northeast of Nashville. And it's moving northeast at 70 miles per hour. This thing's hauling. All right, so 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts are possible. Now, so our old warning went away. Let me turn the radar off. Old warning went away, and this storm is racing out of Davidson County. So this will not be in effect for Davidson County very long. All right, the warning's in effect till 10 o'clock, but that's all the way up to the Kentucky border. All right, so this thing's not going to be with us much longer. But new severe thunderstorm warning for Davidson County. All right, so Lakewood, Rivergate Mall, Old Hickory, Hermitage, Tulip Grove. Those of you in extreme northern and northeastern and eastern Davidson County, you guys are the ones that got to watch out for this. This could be some gusty winds in the Hermitage area, Tulip Grove, Peeler Park, Old Hickory, Rivergate, and all the way up toward Hendersonville in the Sumner County side over there. So crossing like Old Hickory Dam, areas like that. So you guys really all that's left in the severe weather threat. So back down to the southwest, Williamson County. Let's talk about Williamson County just a second. You're no longer included in a warning. The storm line down there is non-severe currently. All right, so Franklin, you're good. Fairview, you're good. Leapers Fork, you're good. Boston, Thompson Station, Natchez Trace Bridge area, Interstate 840 there west of 65, you're good. Greenbrier, all you guys are fine. If you're west of this line, you're in good shape. But no warnings in effect for Williamson County. All right, so the only warnings in effect are up here in northern and eastern Davidson. And really at that, it's going to be basically everybody outside of the Briley Parkway loop. All right, so if you're inside the Briley Parkway loop, you're good. This is for people that are outside of that Briley Parkway loop, and those are the ones that we're watching out for. All right, so Goodlettsville, you're in good shape. The storm has now moved into Sumner County, and Lakewood, it'll be through you pretty quick, but you could get some gusty winds. Hey, let me mention this. If you see any damage, if you see any trees down, if you had any damage from this storm, these warnings were issued, but if you see any damage as a result of that, maybe you had, a shed blow down, maybe you had a tree come down, whatever it is, if you would send us a report, send that to the Weather Service, and the way you do that is tweet your report, your picture, whatever you have that you've taken safely. If you could tweet that and use hashtag TSpotter in your tweet, that gets right over to the Weather Service, and we help with that to make sure they see it. And they would love to know what the results were of that storm. Hopefully it wasn't bad. But if you did have some damage, let us know and let them know. All right, let me look through some of the reports up here. Give me just a second. Really not seeing much in the way of reports here. That's either good or you just haven't reported damage yet. Hopefully not. Hopefully everything's cool. All right. Yeah, I'm not seeing many reports. That's a good sign. All right, but if you do see any damage, just let us know. Use hashtag TSpotter. We'd love to know about it. Yeah, Will is over there handling reports. He said he hasn't seen many reports either. All right, that's a good thing. But if you do see something, let us know. All right, so this warning remains in effect until 10 o'clock. This is our second warning polygon that has come out, and this is in effect till 10 o'clock. It includes Lakewood, Hermitage, and Donaldson, Colonial Village, Nashville Shores, areas like that. If you live in those areas, Old Hickory, it's really coming down out there, and you could get some pretty strong gusty winds with it. I'm going to go look at TBNA real quick off screen here and just make sure we're not missing anything on there. Now, TBNA looks fine. It's got kind of a tough read on the storm, as we were mentioning earlier. A little bit hard to read it off TBNA. All right, so we're looking here at the Weather Service radar. It has a great read on it because it's located right here. All right, it's about to dump right on top of the Weather Service radar. So Lakewood, Old Hickory, Peeler Park, Hermitage, Colonial Village, Nashville Shores, those are the areas that could be seeing these winds. All right, so about another 10 minutes, and we're about ready to call it on this one for Davidson as soon as these storms move out. So they're racing off to the northeast, and kind of go back in time here and go forward. And so they're going through Lakewood and Hermitage now. As soon as they race off to the northeast, we're going to be in good shape in Davidson and Williamson. Again, no warnings in effect for Williamson. We kind of went for a little streak there where there were no warnings in effect in Tennessee at all, right here. So we went from having warnings stretching from border to border, and then we went with no warnings at all, and then the thing kind of flared up again, and here we go. So here we are. All right, our attention kind of turns down here to the south. We've got some storms down to the south of us that they have warned down south of us in Murray County, Marshall County, Giles County. And so we're kind of watching that too. I'm kind of get my bearings down here and see what they're warning down here. And yeah, so we could have some gusty winds down to the south of us as well. We're going to watch that and see if that clips southeastern Williamson County. We'll keep an eye on that. I can hear it coming down at my place, coming down hard. Hearing some wind out there too, but nothing too crazy. I did hear a tree fall at my place before we went on YouTube Live. Heard that noise of tree cracking and falling and hitting the ground, but I couldn't see it outside with the flashlight. So hopefully it's just in the woods somewhere. It didn't affect anything. But I know we're not the only ones that have had that today. All right, so our severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect till 10 o'clock. It will not be in effect that long for Davidson County. It's going to be out of here before then. But a good part of this storm has already moved into Sumner County. Lakewood, you're just about in good shape. If you live over toward Green Hill, kind of right inside the Wilson County line, the storm's to you now, and just about out of Davidson County there. But folks down around like Nashville Shores, Bell Road area, Hermitage, Tulip Grove, Colonial Village, all the way down like to the Nashborough Golf Club and the neighborhoods right there around Percy Priest Lake. You guys still have this storm to go, but it'll be out of here pretty soon. About another 10 minutes, and we'll be about done with this one. And then our attention turns down to the south, and not seeing anything super crazy down south of us as far as that would affect Williamson County. It looks like this storm would miss Williamson. It's kind of already pushing through the eastern parts of Williamson now, so I hope that's the case. We'll see, but we'll have to watch southeastern Williamson here in just a little bit. All right, latest radar scan now has come in, and it's just kind of taking its sweet time around Percy Priest Lake. So those of you around Hermitage, around the, let's see, that's going to be near the hospital there, Summit Hospital, there in Hermitage. and then down to the south, stretching down to the interstate exit there for what is it? Old Hickory Boulevard, I think it is, and down to the south across the lake. Pretty gusty, pretty rainy, and all the way down to the neighborhoods there around Percy Priest Lake. So those are the folks that we're still watching with this severe thunderstorm warning. The severe thunderstorm warning stretches all the way up to the Kentucky border. So it's a big warning. And so we hope that this thing will move out of Davidson soon. A look at velocities real quick. Again, I'm not seeing anything crazy here on velocities. So like on velocities here, and the Weather Service radar has a pretty good read on this, but I mean, we're looking at like maybe 40 mile per hour winds. So, you know, that's pretty windy, but it's not, it doesn't reach severe criteria. So hopefully the winds there across Percy Priest Lake, you know, and radar's reading just a couple hundred feet off the ground. So hopefully this warning won't last very long for Davidson. It looks like the winds have come down, and that's a good thing. And so hopefully it's just heavy rain and not a lot of damaging wind. All right, let's kind of zoom out and get a big picture here. So we've had some rain that came in. You know, it's been raining a little bit before these storms arrived. And then back to the west, we have hold on just a second, I'm reading a note from the Weather Service. Okay. And then back to the west, we have some more rain. So after this line pushes through, we still have some more rain to go, but it's going to be non-severe. Probably not going to have any lightning with it, that kind of thing. It's just going to be steady rain. Weather Service notes that the storm in Hendersonville is moving at a bad angle to all the radars, so it's difficult to determine how strong the winds are. Yeah, definitely. So it's a little tough to see the strength of the winds on radar. Now, the line that's down here in Hermitage and Percy Priest Lake is really moving right toward the radar, so it's tough to read what's going on the ground as far as winds go up here in Hendersonville. But down here, the winds are really moving right toward the radar, so it should have a pretty good read on it around Hermitage and Percy Priest Lake. And again, it's not looking terribly impressive at the moment, but we're going to keep an eye on that for sure. All right. Still some heavy rains around Percy Priest, around Nashville Shores, around Earhart Road, New Hope Road, Chandler Road. That runs on there on east into Mount Juliet. And we got Chute Lane, Saundersville Road, right there around the National Weather Service office. And coming down hard up there. But this thing's going to move on out. Once it does, we'll be in pretty good shape. Looks like the Weather Service is canceling the warning. The warning has disappeared. They just canceled the severe thunderstorm warning early, like, 17 minutes early, something like that. So the warning that was originally expected to expire at 10 o'clock is now canceled way early. All right. Hey, we're good. All right, so no warnings are in effect for either of our two counties. We have warnings down to the south of us that include Murray, Marshall, Giles, Lincoln counties down there in southern Middle Tennessee, and we're going to keep an eye on those, but they don't include us. The storms that are coming through now in both Williamson and Davidson counties are officially non-severe. If that changes, we'll jump back on here and cover it on YouTube Live. Our expectation of that is pretty low at this point, but we will definitely jump back on if we need to. All right, follow David over on Twitter. He will keep updating stuff over on Twitter. Will is taking reports. He'll get those over to the Weather Service. So if you see any kind of damage, let us know, and we will get that report over to the Weather Service. So tweet your location, a picture of the damage if you can do that safely. But if not, that's all right. just tweet using hashtag TSpotter. The Weather Service will see it. We'll get that over to them and be sure they see it, and we'll go with that. Hey, guys, have a great night, and we'll talk to you later.